Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Kami dari kelompok 2 yang beranggotakan saya Ridho Ramadhan.
Saya Saphira Azzahra.
Saya Vini Putiasa.
Saya Vezan Hidayatullah.
Saya Yos Marison.
Kami akan membacakan video yang berjudul I'm Afraid to Speak English dari Lingua Marina. I'm afraid to speak English. People will laugh at me. What if I start a conversation with a native speaker and I suddenly forget word? What if I just can't support a conversation, like I won't be able to use my English? I have so many fears. What should I do? Hey guys, welcome to Lingua Marina. Today we're going to talk about those questions that arise in your head whenever you are confronted with a situation to speak to a native speaker in English. I just want to say, like, first of all, I'm pretty sure you've deeper and talk about your fears, because I had those fears. Like, even now when I speak German, because I'm a perfectionist, I get very nervous because I know I make mistake and I know I forget words and I know everything like this happen and my first turns red and I just and it actually start happening like when I'm relaxed. My German is a lot better. Like if I'm in environment, just talking to friend or just talking to someone at a store, it would be like really smooth language. When I start thinking like, oh my god, like this is one of the reason I stopped recording videos about German, just because it is declining and I have those fears, but I also have them in English. But with English, I understood that English is a tool, is an instrument that I use to improve my life, and without it, I won't be able to achieve my new goals. I want to be able to get to new level of whatever YouTube of my company development. So today I'm gonna start with fear number 1. People are gonna laugh at me. The only time I've been laughed at in terms of my English is when, like in real life, like I get mocked about my accent a lot on social media, but it happens because I get hundreds of thousands of views and I understand that even kittens get dislike on YouTube, and there will be people who are unhappy with whatever I'm doing, and just because I'm doing it, they will be posting bad comment and hating me for whatever I do. But I also understand sometimes it's actually good to have that feedback, because people tell me, oh Marina, that was wrong, that part wasn't correct, but they're not logging at me. They're telling me how to improve, and I accept that with gratitude. So the only time I've been loved and actually happened when I was talking to my friend and I told him I was so hooked up with this person, like I wanted to say that we're really connected with a person, but I use a partial verbs to hook up with someone, and it actually means have a sexual relationship, and this not what if was not what I am mean. And another time it happened recently on Instagram. I came to a butter store and I post a story that I miss his meat in American conversational English. When you say I miss his meat, means I miss his penis, and again people laugh at me, but I thought it was funny, like it is not like, and it was like people, oh my god, Marina, do you know it has a second meaning? It's not like they are angry me for making that mistake. It was like, a friendly advice. So I've never ever had like people in real life like laugh at me, like say, oh my god, your English is so bad, what are you doing here? Never ever happened in my life. And I started practicing English at the age 14, and I was hanging out with really mean like teenager can be really, and they can tell really bad things in your face, but never has that ever happened to me because people understand that I am making an effort to be understood. They understand that I come from a completely different culture, and that I have never spoken English to my parents or to my grandparents.
So the only exception here is social media. Like if you're speaking English in social media, just be ready to get the those head comments. And even if you're perfect in English, even if you're 120 out of 100 on TOEFL, and you post a video how you got that score, you would still like if it goes viral, you would still get comment from people. It's impossible. Your English is not good enough. Like there would always be people on social media hating you. But but in real life, there's like this tiny change. It's gonna happen, but it's not gonna happen, guys. Native speaker, especially Americans, especially British people, are very friendly in real life. People who I meet, people who I talk to in English, even when I was intermediate, they were really friendly and really supportive. So it's all in our head. And I think if you have this fear in English, like people would laugh at you, you probably have it in other aspect of your life. So it's just another reason for you to sit down with yourself and think about like I don't have to be like by everyone. And again, I am a person who has this feeling all the time. I want to be liked by everyone. I want it. I am fighting this like once I start my channel. I realize I can be liked by everyone, but it was really hurting me every time I read something negative about myself, and it took me a while to understand and to realize that my goal is to use my talent, is to grow as an entrepreneur, YouTuber, whatever, as a mom, and do the best that I can. What other people think about me, it's other people business. They have their own understanding of reality. They have their own experience. Maybe they just have a bad day, but it doesn't have anything to do with me. And if you want to dig deeper in this problem, I really advise you to read a book, Courage to be Disliked. It's like one of those books that I started reading last year. I think I last year I had this, I don't know, personality crisis, but I was like I don't want to do this. I don't want to do it. I am afraid to do this because people would comment and they would be unhappy with that, with what I do. And I start just doing a lot of psychological research, and I start doing reading a lot of books. And that was one of the books that really helped me. Like it just talked about how you can control other people emotion, you can control what they think of you. What you have to do is focus on what you can do the best, is focus on your goals and start and achieve them. Another thing I could recommend, watch the one and on Netflix. It's talk just about this woman entrepreneur who little ruthless and she not like a role model that I want to follow, but it just talk about like how she deals with all the problems that arise. When I was thinking like if I were at her place, I would have def, definitely given up, but she continued going. I really encourage you to read those books, to watch the one on Netflix, and to just read interviews. Real life. to this topic because this will help you in your life in general, not just with English. Of course, you will realize that the majority of people won't look at you, and if they will, it is their problem. It's not your problem. You're doing your best. You're practice your English. You're putting effort into being understood by people who don't even speak your language and don't even make an effort to learn your language.
Okay, psychology class is over. Let's move up to some practical advice regarding other things that you can do. So there is another fear. What if the conversation gets too complicated and I won't be able to separate? I also get this fear, like for example, again, I can really relate to this in English right now because my language is pretty. I would say pretty at first, advanced to talk about all kinds of topic, but with German, I can totally relate. And when people start asking me about business, I understand that I will start a conversation. I will talk about my company, but if they start digging deeper, I would be like, oh my god, this is too complicated. And what in 2018 I had to have a surgery in Germany, and I was surprised I was actually able to communicate with doctor and nurse about medical stuff, because basically when we talk about English, we have 100 words that make up like 86% of the conversation. And what you really need to know, if you know those 100 words, if you go to into specific conversation, you can always ask for definition of like specific words. So it was in German, doing that surgery, I was like and what is this in German? I can say that in English, or I could show you on Google. And once I learn like 5 or 7 words that I need that were related to that surgery, the conversation become really easy because you don't need to know like the whole idea of surgery, medical business vocabulary to support an advanced conversation. All you need is those 100 words. And also if you're like I don't know how many words I know right now, this doesn't actually matter. If you understand this video, that means you know enough what to support conversation to start practicing. And if you forget a word, if you don't know the term, if you forget a word, you can just Google it on your phone with Google Translate on show you party this word, and you will be totally fine. And this is, by the way, you learn this word really fast. This video is brought to you by Skillshare, a resource that I keep recommending to you guys, and they have an amazing course about self-care that I want you to explore. It is a short course. It will take around an hour to complete, but it goes through the things that we talk about in more detail. It talks about how you reach to people that around you. The course is called Revolutionary Self-Care, Embrace, Nurture, and Grow Your Authentic Self. And it's talk about things that we've already talked about in this video in more detail, like how they take risks, how to ask for help, how to find your authentic voice, how to be yourself instead of trying to follow other people's guide, instead of trying to do things that other people expect you to do. Just follow you gut. Like, check out that course. And if it's the first time you hear about Skillshare, Skillshare is this amazing online learning community for creative where millions of people come together to take the next step in their creative journey, explore new skill, deep in exciting fashion, and get lost in creativity. Skillshare has been created specifically for learning. That means that there are no ads and they constantly add new class for their premium members, and it costs less than $10 a month with annual subscription. The first 100 followers who hit a link below will get free trial of their premium membership. That means that you can take a course that I've recommended completely for free. Just go there and explore the power of those short class that are really straight to the point, and please take the course that I've recommended if you are expressing those problem with like overthinking what other people think of you. Again, the link is below. The first 100 of my subscribers get access to free trial of Skillshare Premium membership.
Let's continue with the video. Another question is, what if I was shy? What if I stop and freeze? Okay, this can happen as well if you're too nervous about the conversation. The trick that helps me a lot is to pretend that you're someone else. Because again, stopping and freezing has to do something with what's going on with you internally. Like maybe you're again thinking that people are gonna laugh at you, and just there are so many thoughts in your head that you can't just process them. So imagine that you're a different person. You probably, if you're speaking to a native speaker, you're probably in a new country. Nobody knows you, and once this conversation is over, you will part ways with this person. So try to pretend you're your favorite movie character. Try to pretend you're an American if you're in America. Try to pretend that you are this famous blogger that you really, really like. I don't know. Try to pretend to be someone else just for this conversation. It just lets your fears go, and it helps you become more confident with when you speak. Uh, then, what if I offend someone? That's another fear. And one thing I wanted you to remember here is that when we talk to a person, people pay attention to our body language, to our facial expressions, our emotions. And even if you say something incorrectly in English, they would understand you didn't really mean it. And also, they would understand like if they tell you about something and you don't understand, but you just say yes. And a lot of times people will tell you, but you didn't understand, right? And they would explain in another way. It's okay to say, oh, I didn't mean that. Sorry, was that offensive? Because my English is not good enough. It's okay. But if you're smiling, if you're open, then people will understand 100% that you didn't mean to offend them. That is was like, oh my God, I'm sorry. That is something that we're used to in our culture or mix up the word. People would understand. Now, let's wrap up this video with a couple of tips. If you have an important conversation in English coming up, maybe you have an interview with a university, or I remember when we were preparing for a community interview and at an accelerator here in Silicon Valley, the worst mistake you can do is actually overthink. It makes sense to prepare. It makes sense to go through questions that were asked before. And this kind of environment, like go through questions that university asked during the interview, go through questions that people are normally asked, etc. But I would say take your time. Prepare for 2 hours, but don't take too long, because when it takes too long, when it takes days, we over prepare for a Y Combinator interview, and instead of relaxing before it, instead of just catching the vibe of Silicon Valley, we were just brainstorming how we're gonna fight this small company that is trying to do the same thing, and people there didn't even know about it. And like now, when I look back at it, it's important to know what you're talking about, like to tell a story, to tell I don't know what why you're interested in this or that university, this or that subject, but don't overthink. Like they will probably ask basic questions, or if They ask some complicated questions that's almost impossible to predict what they're going to ask. So learn some basic things, but then let yourself relax. Watch something in English. Just put yourself into the environment before the conversation or before the test so that your brain switches from your language into English. It will be a lot easier.
The next step, be nervous and do it anyways. Michael Jordan once said, "Being nervous is not is bad. It just means something important is happening." So my tip here, and I did interview with Justin Ken on Silicon Valley Girl, and he said, "Don't be afraid of your emotion. Don't surprise them. Tell yourself, okay, I'm nervous about this conversation I'm gonna have in English. It's fine. I understand that I'm nervous because it's an important conversation. I understand that my English is maybe not good enough, and I had practice. I love, but I'm gonna do it anyway. And I gonna use this conversation as practice. And after the conversation, I'm gonna sit down and think what was good and what was bad. I was really bad, like analyzing things afterward because I I'm this perfectionist, and when I shot a video, I don't want to see it just because I understand I could have done better, and this is endless process, but actually taught myself to look at number. I taught myself to actually sit down and think what I, I did wrong and what could be done better, and it helps a lot with your progression. So after the conversation, sit down with yourself and think, did I do everything I go do, and if not, just have some tips for yourself for the next conversation. I have this note in my iPhone where I just put in things that I could do better in my video, and I had those tips and always look important video and just remind myself that I make those mistakes. It's okay. It's gonna good that I know about them, and I'm gonna better in the next video. The next tip, do until if you normal. Just keep having this conversation in English. Keep being shy. Keep being nervous, and some stage you're gonna be tired of it, especially if you are in English speaking country or you are applying to universities. Like I have a lot of people here in US who are applying the university. Most children of my friend, oh my god, I'm so old, but they are applying to like this 24 college, and once you know interview number 10, you just get tired of it, and you just get used to it, and you feel nervous and anymore, so keep doing. Also adapt the graph instead something we already talked about, like I'm bad and at speaking English, my accent is good enough yet, but I'm using this way to practice, and I'm using this exact conversation as my way to improve, learn to talk, to love and yourself. You know, life is simple. We overcomplicate so many things. We tend to think that this meeting is game changer. It is not. You can always do another meeting. There's so many people in the world. There's so many opportunities, and if you don't get any result from the upcoming competition, doesn't matter. You can do a lot more competition. The most important You have yourself and have your time, you have your band that help you speak English don't create problem from yourself. Enjoy life. We only have one life and I want you to go ahead and enjoy it and look everything from a positive perspective, especially if something like smaller, like conversation with a native speaker, come on and define. Life is easy. Smile, tell yourself that is not today you're gonna make tomorrow. If not tomorrow, you gonna make in a week is fine. You will get there. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. I'm the very and please subscribe this channel. And if you have friends who are struggling to speak English or any other language, please share this video with them. And I will see you very soon in my next video. Bye.
Sekian dari kami. Bila ada salah kata kami mohon maaf. Kami akhiri. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.